tonight, hey, brother.
You're listening to the Doug Stanhope Podcast.
Check. I will bring up the Brad Robinson versus Brad Robinson because that's really... I mean, it's just a hilarious idea.
Both of you are going to have to hold the microphone really close.
All right.
Sure.
That's why we should do it on the patio.
Yeah.
All right.
But the idea of this guy just getting fucking bombarded, because he knows me as when he Googles himself, sometimes I come up. That's all he knows of me.
And do you know this guy at all?
No, I don't know him. I don't know him at all.
All right, we're with Brad Robinson, former, he says.
Former is correct.
MMA fighter. We're in Singapore. And his promoter, his hype man.
Yeah, he's my hype man. That's right.
We just went over this. That's why I didn't want to talk about what we're going to talk about. But at one point when Bingo was in a coma...
Full Metal Dojo, John Nutt.
Full Metal Dojo. They wanted me to do like Joe Rogan work in Bangkok as a color commentary guy for MMA. And
opposite me. Like it was supposed to be you and I sitting next to the cage talking about cage fighting in a club in an underground scene in Bangkok, which was questionably legal at the time.
You knew I had no idea. They go, you just have to be funny.
Yeah.
Just fuck around. But I don't know anything about MMA. I watch it, but I don't know a fucking thing. We don't care.
Yeah, it was perfect. But that's kind of Bangkok in general, which you'll find out in the next couple of days. That's kind of how Bangkok works. It doesn't really matter.
It's the red light's on. That's all we have to worry about. Eat the mic and the red light's on, and some one cunt will complain about the fucking. So there was like the levels were off. Hopefully they'll say that. But Mayhem Miller, let's just jump into this now, and then we can go backwards.
Let's dive into it.
Mayhem Miller was involved at the time.
Correct. So when you couldn't pull it off or that thing fell through, it ended up being Mayhem and I that did this show together. Now, I've never met Mayhem before that. Same friends.
You had to have known about him.
Oh, no,
I knew about him
about
not even being a big MMA guy because he had like SWAT standoffs and shit, and he did that awful show on MTV.
Yeah, I did the Bully Beatdown. Yeah, and I know he went on Rogan's podcast.
Could have been good if it was done well.
Yeah.
Wasn't done well at all. Go ahead.
It was done for a PG audience. Imagine if it was done for like an adult rated R audience.
Yeah, lean into the mic when you.
I apologize.
Just so you know.
Yeah. So here I am, and it's the first show I've done for these guys, for Full Metal Dojo. And
it was the first one with commentary.
Yeah. So before that, it was just for a live audience. There was no TV, but these guys got a TV deal, and it became a real thing, and they wanted to pop it with Doug Stanhope comes to Bangkok and does MMA commentary. But it ends up Mayhem and I. And my first reaction when he calls and goes, "You're opposite Mayhem Miller," was, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm Googling him right now, and the first picture is him in an orange jumpsuit, and the second one is of his house with a SWAT team around it. And I'm not sure where this is going to go. So fast forward, this thing goes down. He's a gentleman. I mean, just a class act, shook my hand, great conversation, showed up in a suit.
Oh, let's also mark that, though, because he asked us for the time, and we're like, could you be back here at 6 o'clock? And 6 o'clock comes, and it's like, where is he? So you text him, and he's like, just getting into my suit. And you're like, no, you're not. You have no. When I met him, he had no sleeves on. You know he showed up, and like, all of a sudden he comes up. He's got the perfect Windsor knot in his tie.
Yeah.
He's got a purple mohawk, Windsor knot, gray suit, looking like Shannon Sharp, but obviously
with notes.
He owed lawyers money.
There was a tax bill or a lawyer's bill for sure. But he was professional. He had notes. This fighter fights out of this, and hey, Brad, where's Chiang Mai, Thailand at? Is that how you say it? And trying to get the Thai names pronounced right, and really, really impressed me with his effort. He did a good job. And he was fun, and it went pretty well. Like, we both know what we're talking about, and we had a good flow. And then the night continued on, and we ended up in a hotel room.
Let's also say that the event, we got to party with him the night before. So the weigh-ins is never a weigh-in. The weigh-ins is a shit show.
Just the way you phrased that,
Yeah.
we got to party with him. Like, you're his boss. You're the guy who's going, oh, fuck, it's 6 o'clock. Where is he? We got to party with him. Like,
Again, yeah, that's kind of the way the whole function rolls. We were events coordinators. The way that we got into this whole thing originally was we were events coordinators that threw parties. I just happened to throw fights at the parties. So we used to throw, like, we would
That's actually
we would rent a mansion, and we'd have, again, different pretty world-class DJs, things of that nature. But I would also put on fights because we had midgets.
It was just the dichotomy of, hey, we get to party with Mayhem Miller, and the next night going, why isn't he showing up? This is unprofessional.
Correct.
You can't be a fan and a boss at the same time.
Exactly.
I think that we got to party with him was a bit of a surprise that he made it that far without getting incarcerated.
Yeah.
So I
All
think
right,
that's actually where
let's
the
get to the
surprise
ugly
came from.
parts.
Yeah.
So
the ugly parts.
we get out. We have a good time, and against my better judgment, and after consuming some beverages and such to make me twist it out of my mind, I decided to text Mayhem, hey, it's 2 a.m. You want to get weird?
Wait, you had to goad him?
I did. I did. And 13 seconds later, he was knocking on my hotel room door, wired in the eyes, and fucking let's go, bro. Where we going? And I had a good time. But we're there. There's a group of people in the room. And I'm the only other person who's ever had any combat
Wait,
sports.
you're in Bangkok.
We're in
at the
Bangkok
time.
in a hotel room.
Okay, so he shows up at your room.
About 2 a.m.
We're going to get weird.
Yeah.
Now, when you say we're in a room, are you in another room? Or did he bring people to your room?
He brought people, and we had a couple other people there, a couple friends of
So
mine
it's
there
in
as
your
well.
room?
Yeah, so it's in my room.
That's because that's always dangerous.
This was a strategic...
You
this
can't
was-
leave.
This was a bad idea. And here I am going,
Babysitter.
I'm regretting this already. Like, I'm 40 minutes in going, how am I going to get these fucking people out of here? Or I might just go check into the room next door and just let this go because I'm not cut out for this nonsense. So, good time. Mayhem, I can best describe it as, I think I told you earlier, like you've around someone who's adopted a dog and you don't know what the fuck that dog has been through up before that day.
It's a rescue.
It's
eating my baby.
It's an SPCA, may had the shots, may not have had the shots sort of a moment.
Yeah.
And I just feel like Mayhem he wants to do good. He wants to be a good guy. And if he's surrounded by people like I was that night going, no, hey, buddy, put that, no, let's not, we don't need the knife in the, no, let's, what's the TV stays on, if he's got those people around him at all times, it's fine and dandy. He goes, oh, yeah, fuck, okay, I'll put that chair back down there.
When we talked about this earlier, I mentioned Chad Shank, who's he's got anger issues and he knows about it. But this is for 3 people in my life. There was a guy when I used to play Coots in Alaska named Stevie that was part of the group, but he was like a really fucking dark, evil presence, and someone flicked me shit. I was trying to sell T-shirts. I was still with a mullet back then in the 90s.
Selling merch.
I'm selling merch for the first time, and someone flicked me shit in front of him. And I had to do that. I go, don't do it, Stevie. It's fine. It's not that big a deal. He's like, I'm fine. And then he followed him to another part of the bar in a dark corner and just pummeled him into a fucking pulp. And I'm like, why did you? I said, I couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
Don't ever let those two hang out together. That's not it's the exact same sort of thing. Like,
Mayhem was funny though, because Mayhem, like on a Southeast Asia to American note, he came in and he got the same instructions as most people would when it comes to Mexico. So like, if a white guy comes over to you and he starts some shit, it's okay, Mayhem. You can punch him in the face. If anybody of brown color, if any small brown or yellow people come over to you and talk shit, do nothing. You will be attacked from the side like a velociraptor because Thais don't play. Thailand and Mexico are like those types of countries where if you are on the opposite side of whatever it is, police, gangsters, however it rolls, because police and gangsters are actually the same fucking thing.
You're gonna have to
deal with it, and
you're gonna have to give me the download. I'm not gonna go out, but I still want to know.
Well, yeah. Again, it's a very gray. My father was a lawyer, so he won't come and visit me because he literally says that it's a lawless country, and I wouldn't say that it's lawless. It has morals, And if you...
It has a code.
It has a code. And if you step over certain morals and step certain codes... But it's completely gray and completely obtuse to any Westerner. And by that, I mean, like, they'll say that prostitution is illegal. What is Thailand known for? Prostitution.
Yeah.
It's illegal. Pornography is illegal in Thailand. But yet I know where to go buy some porn. You know what I mean? Drugs are illegal.
Wow,
Drugs
you
are
so
illegal.
dated yourself right
I
there.
know.
Buy some porn?
Yeah.
You're a philanthropist if you're buying porn. These people got to make a living.
He's a bit of a hipster. He likes the vintage stuff. It's VHS
vivid guy.
and magazines he finds in the woods. That's his only. That's his only porn
YouTube
take.
gentrified porn. I'm going back to the source.
No, high definition ruined porn. Not
Oh
you.
yeah,
High definition has
I
killed
actually
porn
did a
completely.
bit about that.
It
It
ruined
was
it.
about the. I did a bit about that about the gunginess of the Asian vagina.
It gets wet down there. Again, it's like the tropics.
I mean, it's humid. It's humid.
Wow, I'm glad my DVDs aren't popular over here because I'd have to.
You did the.
With the
There
wiry
was
ass hair of the.
There was a Korean Japanese bit you had about bloated hanging out in the water too long.
The tsunami.
Yeah,
it
was
I have
pretty
a
rough.
lot of
It was
bits.
pretty rough. I would shelve that one for this little trip.
Oh
I
yeah,
would
yeah,
shelve it.
I don't repeat old material, but there's a lot of things that can come up in your past when you get them on a DVD and sold it. Anyway, let's get back to Mayhem
back to
Miller
our-
in the hotel room.
So back to our friend Mayhem. We had it was a good time. Typical getting weird, making bad decisions in a hotel room. You can paint your own picture of what was going on.
Sure.
And then it was fucking let's go out and fuck shit up was the exact quote. Verbatim. Stood up, let's go out and fuck shit up. And I look at my watch and it's 5:30 in the morning.
Okay, so you said paint my own picture. I'm imagining because I pictured whores in that room with drugs, and I would think once you came, you go, I'm going to bed. So I'm guessing you didn't cheat on your wife.
Multiple times. Man comes multiple times because you're not wrong. That dude's just kind of a stud. I mean, he said he was going to go into porn, and there's probably a reason why he's going to go into porn.
He's got good cardio. If you've seen him fight, he's got great fucking cardio, Doug. That's all I'm going to say. Like, the guy's got a good second wind, all right? So I tap out. I can't do this, guys. I got shit to do tomorrow, and, so I bail. And the next phone call I get, I don't know who he hooked up with or how it happened, but and Mayhem, if you're listening, he did kind of tell part of the story in his podcast, so I'm not speaking too much out of turn here. But the police in Bangkok, if they find you in a certain state of mind walking down the road, will just come over and shake you down. It's just the way it is, and it's gotten worse. in the
Okay,
last
so it
couple of
is
years.
like Mexico in that
They will
way
shake
where
you
you
down.
can bribe your way out of a problem.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes,
I wrote about it in my book just briefly where I did a timeshare salesperson convention in Cancun, and the guy was saying, I could never move back to the States because once you understand how the grift works down here, like once you understand the
True
corruption,
freedom. True freedom
he said, I
flows.
was dead blackout drunk on Christmas Eve and I got pulled over and I gave him $50 and it just kept going. And
Well, to make a long to go on Mayhem again, we had a great time, and I tapped out as well. I was done, and again, it's 5 a.m. and I remember we walked out with him and two other gentlemen who I'm not going to say their names. I only actually know one of them, but we went right and he went left. And it was like in the Calvin and Hobbes, like you just wrong way, right way, that type of thing. And I'm the one that
Goofus and
gets
gallant.
Yeah, I'm the one that gets the phone call at 8:30 to meet them at the Tong Law police station and bring money. So that whole thing wound up going down. Aiden, what you'll love about this, especially when it comes to a Bangkok town, the guy that he was with, because Mayhem didn't get busted with anything. It was the guy that he was with that got busted. And he pulled the shitty move of putting it in his sock, because that's where everybody hides. You know what I mean? It's just like, what kind of rookie year is this? You know what I mean? You put it in your sock, really? So puts it in his sock, and the Thai cop, when he finds it on him, takes it out and he goes, cocaine, you've got cocaine. And the guy goes, no, it's ketamine. And Mayhem goes, it's still illegal, shithead. And then there they are, busted in Thailand with Mayhem pointing at the guy that he's with.
This is the same night. This is not a separate story. All right, just make it.
Yeah, man. This is 5:45.
And he's gonna. Does he have to work that night?
No, he had to work the next day. But
Mom, if you're listening, I was in sleep at this time. I was not with the ketamine or the cocaine.
Neither was I.
Does your mom listen to my podcast? Because I was kind of hoping.
Yeah, she might.
I only agreed to have you on to get to your mom.
With arms wide open.
Mom gets weird too. She could have been in the hotel room with us. That
explains
everything you're looking at.
Is mom still in Oklahoma?
She's still in Oklahoma.
That fucking Dust Bowl shack you left her in.
Somehow,
all fucking Tom
alone,
Joad goes fucking
me.
west to go be an MMA fighter in Singapore.
Great son. Great son.
Right. Love you, Mom. Love you. So Mayhem. So
Mayhem flipped into the truck again. They brought up the paddy wagon. It's a Ford 4x4.
This is while he's getting arrested.
So they made him put his hands on the side of the ute, if you will, the side of the pickup truck, and because they were all sketched out by him. And the way he tells us the story,
again, Purple Mohawk. If you don't know Jason Mayhem Miller from the UFC and Bully Beatdown and
Pride and all again, and just being crazy, and being awesome in that reference, if you will, but getting arrested by the cops. But so he's hands on the side of the pickup truck, and his friends are being led into the back, and they're like, "You should get into the back too." And instead of taking his hands off of the car and walking around like a normal fucking human being, he decided to squat down, jump up, and flip into the back of the
That's
the
a
truck.
strong move.
That is a strong. I said the same thing. I actually respect the move. Like if I'm going out, like I'm gonna have some flash with it.
Well,
but
he tells everybody that's when they all went clips in.
Yeah, they did though. Apparently, he was a bit loud and being Mayhem, and the cops are now back, hand on the handguns, yelling at him to get in the truck, and that's when he decides his best decision is to do a big front flip into the back of the fucking paddy wagon in Bangkok. Yeah.
I can only fucking imagine.
Nadia Comaneci. How many fucking dated references can I use in this story? Anyway.
So I miss all the phone calls to deal with getting him out and coming with a wad of cash to the police station, but
150,000 baht. 150,000
baht. How many? All right. How many dollars is baht?
It's 31 baht to the dollar today. So it's 100,000 baht is $9,000. So yeah, you're talking about $10,000, $15,000.
Yeah. And you could talk your way down to $3,000 to $4,000. You could talk your way down fairly aggressively, fairly quickly.
There's really I can't barter on a car or anything. Like I'll either pay what you're asking or I won't. But when it's for your freedom,
yes.
Or even worse, in this case, your friend or kind of friend. Like, how much do I really know
How
this
responsible
guy?
am I for this dude?
I'm like 2,500 into this guy. You say 15,000. I don't even like him that much. He's crazy. He fucked up my. How about? All right, I'll go 3,000 because he did the backstory. He learned how to pronounce names of Thailand towns.
Or the Windsor knot was actually
The
meticulously
Windsor knot. I'll go 3,500 tops on the Windsor knot. Not a penny more.
Fresh shaved mohawk sides. Like he put the work in, so he gets some cash. But $5,000 that's $5 is all.
Well, it also wasn't us. It wasn't us that bailed him out. We were with you because so again, like, yes, technically I'm like the nucleus of this whole thing, but I by no means was leading the party. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, you know what? We're the doorbell is ringing in our youth hostel that we're staying in here, and we're gonna get a pizza. So let's take a minute. We're gonna do a commercial while we eat some pizza, and we'll be right back after these messages. We'll be right back. Hey, did you know the Doug Stanhope Podcast is now available on Spotify? Spotify is making it easy for you to stream this podcast and many others like it on your mobile device, desktop app, and smart speaker. I don't know what that is. I don't even know how to listen to this podcast. I have to do it live just to hear it at all. Open the app on mobile or desktop, click on the browse channel, and then click on the podcast section. Take us with you wherever you go, thanks to Spotify. Hey, listener, Are you like me, alone in the middle of the night in your hotel room, and they called last call, and you can't get a drink, and you're out of smokes, and there's nothing in walking distance, and hookers won't answer their phone at this hour, and you think you're out of vices? Oh no, you can still gamble. You can gamble at any hour at mybcasino.ag. They have huge bonuses, free spins, and so much more. You could be gambling all night. You can miss your flight playing games you love like blackjack, roulette, slots, shoots and ladders, Monopoly. I don't think they have board games. But I got to through roulette and slots. If you want a real Vegas experience while sitting in that lonely hotel room, instead of staring at your feet, put a laptop over your dick and start gambling at mybcasino.ag. Join MYB Casino and deposit today to triple your bankroll with their amazing 200% sign-up bonus. Use promo code Stanhope to activate the offer. Beat the house from home or from your slummy little sweaty hotel where the air conditioning doesn't work. It doesn't matter. Play at mybcasino.ag today. You play, you win, you get paid. Tomorrow is another day. As we start gentrifying these few blocks of the Warren district of Bisbee, Arizona, we're making a Blue Apron neighborhood. That's right. Our new neighbors, the Owls. You might remember Mrs. Al, the seizure sister. Now you're on the Blue Apron. You're hooked. You're junkies.
Yeah, definitely. I was looking at all the different meals, and with having seizures, I can't really get out. So being able to have the Blue Apron products just show up, and Mr. Al loves different kinds of food, so I can go from having pork meatballs with miso mashed potatoes one night to beef and mushroom soup the next, and tandoori chicken another. So really excited for.
I forget that you can't drive because of your seizure disorder. Blue Apron comes right to your door. You can flip out and start throwing fucking spaghetti all over the walls. No one's going to notice. You don't have to embarrass yourself in Safeway like you probably do most of the time and give your husband ulcers. Now it's all in the privacy of your own home. It's kind of like the porn of food. You get it in a brown paper package.
You could have driven to Safeway and killed 17 school children as you passed the school, but no. You didn't. You stayed home and got Blue Apron.
And I saved those children and saved $30 by using the code Stanhope. So.
Ow! Boom! Blue Apron is the leading meal kit delivery service in the U.S. And while many people know what we do, many don't know about the types of meals you eat when you cook with Blue Apron. You're not just having burgers for dinner. You're making short rib burgers with a hoppy cheddar sauce on a pretzel bun. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. You're not just eating fucking steakums, microwaved fucking White Castles. No, you're preparing seared steaks and thyme pan sauce with mashed potatoes, green beans, and crispy shallots, all in under 45 minutes. And without a trip to the grocery store. No Sherry in lane 4 fucking clogging up your ears with her local gossip. No, right to your goddamn door. Walk out with your rifle. Get off my lawn. Get away from my box. That's my Blue Apron box. That's Mr. Al in his overalls. All paranoid from the meth pipe.
A complete accurate description of Mr. Al, by the way.
You did a very good job.
Blue Apron. Tell us, Chad. Hit some beats.
I thought Chaille was supposed to tell us.
Oh, Chaille.
Yeah, Chaille's got some. Yeah, take it away, Chaille.
He's phoning it in. What'd you cook this week? Wherever the fuck you are.
You know who always knows where I am, Doug? Blue Apron. I just went online to change my address, and the boxes find me each week without interruption. It's that easy. And next week is the soy-glazed pork meatloaf with miso mashed potatoes and sautéed cabbage. And crispy catfish with coconut lime curry and kale. And another 30-minute meal, sweet chili stir-fry with carrots and shiitake mushrooms. How does that sound?
That sounds fucking good.
Well, there you have it. It's fucking good. Blue fucking Apron. If you don't like it, fuck you.
Listen, Blue fucking Apron, as Stanhope calls it, is treating the Doug Stanhope or the Doug fucking Stanhope podcast listeners to $30 off your first fucking order if you visit blueapron.com/Stanhope. So check out this week's fucking menu and get your $30 off at blueapron.com/Stanhope. Blue Apron, a better fucking way to cook.
All right, we're back.
After pizza and a little pizza run.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Actually, very good pizza.
I thought we were just going to have to throw dough down our heads so we could continue this, but that was fucking great pizza.
Yeah, that worked out well. So where were we, Doug? We were.
He was about to say something wrong, but I think he had a second.
Actually, yeah, the button on this story is best delivered by John because I wasn't there. So the Mayhem. You got to finish the Mayhem situation.
Mayhem left with the best of everybody in his place. So I didn't have to do the bailout. I again, like you were talking about. Technically, I was seen as the boss at that moment. So I got phone calls like, you need to be the one that's doing this, and I don't. No, I don't. This is not our issue. He's the one that got arrested in Thailand, and in all honesty,
I've worked with openers where we had kind of the same rule where, all right, if you want to go be a sketchy motherfucker, the van is leaving at 8 a.m. and
if you're not on board.
Yeah, no one's coming for you. You want to go take chances.
So needless to say,
Mr. I'm not drunk.
Correct.
Don't call me drunk. I paid the bar bill. You fucking better be drunk for this money.
Mr. It's not cocaine, it's ketamine, by the way, which was the still the line that
really
always
fucking funny.
Still gets me.
Mine where is doing bumps with the guy. It was fucking John Rocker. If you haven't figured
good old
it out
John
in
Rocker.
the book,
Who doesn't love John Rocker?
We're in the Atlanta toilet, and he goes, key bump. He goes, it's not meth, but it's not meth.
Yes.
I ran out after I did the bump, and I told my tour manager, write this quote down because that's the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, exactly.
And he wasn't being funny. So he was
being rocker.
He's apologizing for the quality. It's not great shit. It's not meth, but it's not meth.
Yeah.
That's so accidentally brilliant.
I didn't do the bailout, but what I did do was the let's get this guy on the plane and make sure everything's okay. You know, so like they told me.
Do you know who bailed him out?
Yeah, I do, and I know that there's like actually still technically money owed. That like, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. The funniest thing on that note is,
old enough to know that when you hand that money over at this age, it ain't coming back.
You know,
it's not like 19 where you go, you still owe me like $48.
Correct. And again, I will honestly say that the dudes that were with him at the time of bust, this has got to be the best story of their fucking lives. You know what I mean? This has got to be one of the best.
Absolutely.
And the getting out of jail when you get released. I mean, talk about jumping out of an airplane. You know what I mean? There's got to be no more like, whew, finally made it out of that one alive. That feeling has got to be kudos. But so when everything got settled,
he in jail?
He wasn't in jail. He was in actually literally holding. So it was 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
3 hours was the time that it took, because in Thailand they do this. This is a trick for any of you that ever get arrested, but they do roll calls.
This is actually the podcast where this is useful material.
Yeah. They do roll calls. So like if you get busted on one shift, a day is broken up into 4 quarters. If you get busted on one shift and that dude turns over, well, then you're done. Then you're in the system. Then they have to write you down. What you can do, just like Mexico or any of these other sorted countries like that, is if you get your bribe in there beforehand, if you get that passed along the chain, you're good to go. You're off. You're running.
Because otherwise they have to split tips. And you know,
Correct.
That pisses off the wait staff.
100%.
I did all this side work. I shouldn't have to split anything with you.
Correct. There's one.
I filled all the ketchup bottles and you did nothing. But
Detective Butthurt over there is literally like, I feel like I shucked this Farrang down for more money. So we're called Farrang in Thailand. Phalang. Farrang. And it's the word. It's the
Wait, white people.
white people.
All right.
It comes from the word Farrangset, which means French, because they were the first white people to go to Thailand. So we're all called Farrang. So
They discovered Thailand.
yes, they discovered it.
Yes.
What?
They discovered those people.
Exactly.
Those
Thank
Thai
God for
people
the French.
were discovered by the
Is
French.
basically what we're.
have Tom Yum.
Vietnam wouldn't exist. Cambodia wouldn't exist. These places you would have never found them. But so I had the job of going to go get Mayhem to, bro, you got to make the plane though, right? And so we were sponsored by the Movenpick, which was awesome. Big shout out to the Movenpick. See how I did that? Circular.
I think we just did a spot for them when we did a break.
yeah, exactly. So go in and knock on the door, and you're banging on the door, and it's one of these things. You're just hearing it.
He's back in his own room, right? He didn't go right back to your room.
He's back in his own room, and you're just hearing muffled grunts, and again, like you're walking in on the movie Saw. Like what's going on there? I don't really know. What's going on? And Mayhem comes to the door, and he leaves the chain lock on there, so it only comes to a certain, hey, Johnny, what's going on, buddy? What are you doing? You got a plane to catch in like 2.5 hours, so I'm just making sure that you and Rick get on there. Are you okay? And he goes, I'll be okay after I knock this whore out.
and the
by
listening
that, he
audience
meant
doesn't
have
see
sexual intercourse with her, not
the look that you just made with your face after I knocked this whore out, and you delve your chin back into your neck.
Yes. It got very
Patrick Bateman.
I was gonna go Weinstein. It's a Weinstein era.
Sling Blade.
Either one. Yeah, it could be. I'll take it.
She might be 13. I don't know.
Oh man, but he was it was so funny, and they came down together, holding hands, if you will. It looked sweet. So
You look like my fucking bride, or I'll put a cigarette out on your eye.
Needless to say, great times had by all. In all honesty.
And where is he now?
Again, so
Because he used to, I don't know how it was on Twitter that it had to be Twitter where he took me to task over like a joke I made, but then kept tweeting me, you should straighten out your life, but then they came back, and then he was nice, and I think you're funny, and
you said I don't think he'll fucking have even an issue with this at all. I mean, you said bipolar, right? So again, a lot of people that are that way. I mean, he's obviously lived a rock star's life in a fighter's body. So thus, he has all the brawn of a dude. Because, by the way, rock stars could live a lot longer if they were fat people, right? So you have some storage for the toxins that you're doing, the bad stuff that you're doing in your body. He doesn't have any of that. So he goes on binges. He trains really, 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 really hard for 3 months in order to fight.
I don't think you're a doctor, by the way, for
Thank
the
you.
listener.
Thank you.
I don't know a lot of fat rock stars that are old.
But they should be. Yeah, exactly.
All the ones that are actually the
doing the best.
the Keith Richards guys and the Steven Tylers.
Like that wiry fucking squirrel.
Yes,
Duff McKagan.
Yeah.
Heroin
Meth spindly.
That's the way that it should be.
Yeah.
That is the way that
They're
it should
80
be with
years
him. but-
old and they're fucking.
their fuck muscles when they take their shirts off.
Yeah, what's his? Not Lou Reed, but the other one. I think he's dead. Iggy Pop.
Iggy Pop.
He might be dead, but either way, he's alive here on this podcast because
Yeah.
I don't really know my facts.
Yeah, exactly. Is that Frank Zappa over there? What? He was just he was a very cool dude to work with, and the funny thing on that note, when we're talking about social media and the lack thereof, or as much of thereof, so he doesn't do his own social media. He doesn't, like, he has a buddy that does the Mayhem Monkey Nation that does it, and he and I used to communicate via Hotmail because we both have.
I'm a Hotmail guy.
Thank you,
Doug Stanhope at.
Yeah, great, awesome, bro.
And also 212 Van Dyke Street, Bisbee, Arizona 85603. If you Google Doug Stanhope's address, it's the first thing that comes up.
Crazy talk. You're the mayor of that town, then, huh?
Well, I think Brad and I, we could both put our street addresses out, and no one's coming to fucking Singapore or Bisbee anytime soon just because they know your address.
No one's coming to 6 Simon Lane in Kovan, Singapore. It's not going to happen. It's 7 train stops from the city. Like, no one's going to do it. I'm not really worried. Much like this.
See, this is where you guys are lucky because everybody's going to come to my house once I say it.
No one's but long story short, I'm not shitting on Mayhem, but we were, talking, but he was a fucking lovely guy. Like, I'm not kidding. He was before the night, took a hard left turn, or the morning, literally one of the most enjoyable conversations you'd ever have. So that was the
only experience you've had, was that fight and that night, and that was it?
That's my Mayhem Miller experience. That's that, and I don't want it to change.
Our Mayhem moment.
Yeah.
If I were actually to quit comedy, which I consider daily, hourly sometimes, and just actually focus on the podcast and make it like a regular show where we have regular beats, that would be, I would have a Mayhem Miller moment like Andy Rooney at the end of 60 Minutes. I would love that.
Look, man, Jason, if you're listening, you're always welcome back in this. I mean, once you can leave the country, and
correct,
if you can enter this one, you're more than welcome to come back. You can't stay in my house, but you can stay nearby. We're more than
you can come to Bisbee, but you have to put your own credit card down at the hotel because I'm not settling any damages.
I need $5,000 in bailout money, like a banker's guarantee, before you land, in case I do have the guilty conscience to come.
And you have
out.
to come when Frank Mir's there, because now that we're buddied up with Frank Mir, I need a heavyweight, a super heavyweight.
There was a moment in this hotel room when things were getting a little intense, and Mayhem was getting all mayhem, where everyone looked at me as the other athlete, in fucking brackets, as I'm in not the greatest state of mind, to protect them from fucking UFC fighter, Pride fighter. And Mayhem at the time was ripped. Like, he was fucking yoked and in shape. He was in fight shape for some reason at the time, I guess.
No alcohol.
Preparing for Bangkok.
On probation.
And there was a moment where I just went, I'm from a farm town in Oklahoma, and there's 7 people looking to me to protect them from UFC fighter, Pride fighter, my guidance counselor was right all along. Like, I definitely made some strategic errors in my choices tonight because I don't know, outside of running away and pulling a fire alarm, what I could do to stop him if shit was going to go south, because he's a fucking deadly
When you were
weapon.
a fighter, did you talk shit like, I'm not afraid of anyone? Like,
I've done enough.
But would you ever say this in a pre-fight interview? Oh, Jesus, everyone's looking at me like I could win this one, and there's no way I can win against this fucking guy. Don't bet on me.
My move is always, this is like, it's a shame it's called fighting. I see it as a sport. And I just want to, I have a skill set and he has a skill set. I want to test my mettle. And then the interview would end and I would go, I'm shitting my pants right now with fear. Like, I'm going to go piss blood just from the fear. And like, it's the scariest thing. Any fighter who ever says, not me, bro, like, I don't get the nerves, is full of shit, or it's not possible. It's the scariest thing you'll ever do. This guy has trained his whole life to murder me. And I'm walking down a cage and there's cameras and pay-per-view and they're going to film me fighting this guy. I've thought of every reason possible. I've thought I'll lose my mouth guard. I'll fake a seizure. Like, I've had all of these thoughts on the way to the cage. I'll trip and I got bad knees. Everyone knows I have bad knees.
Any fighter ever said this on a podcast?
Definitely. But I promise you, they've all had the same thoughts I have. Like, it's the scare. It's the dumbest thing I've ever done, and I look back at it like it's a different human being that did it.
I still look at it like everybody jumping out of an airplane. Everybody always is like, yeah, I'm cool. But then if you're like going tandem for the first time, it's like, okay, but you go first. You know what I mean? Like, of course, your nerves get into play. The difference is, again,
next time I meet any kind of MMA guy, I'm going to go, hey, you know what? I know you're shitting your pants inside. I know you're 8 inches taller than me.
Yep.
And you got 60 pounds on me, but I know. I talked to Brad, and he said you're a fucking pussy.
Brad number 1, by the way. Brad number 1.
Brad number 1. I thought you said Brad never won. I'm like, wow, that's why you quit.
0-17. We were taking advice from him. No, he was shit scared the whole time. That's why. But yeah, I mean, it makes like, look, I did it, and it was the most like distilled. I found it exactly like you can strip away all the bullshit that you tell yourself when you're walking and they're going to close the cage behind you. It is like the most.
Well, that's what Mayhem Miller felt, but that was a Bangkok jail. They closed the cage behind him. It was a different fight altogether.
I would bet maybe Mayhem wasn't shitting his pants in fear when he was fighting in Pride. He might actually
probably didn't have enough to eat to even shit. That's why I couldn't handle the ketamine.
Again.
So, all right, give me your. I don't know how many fights you fought, but give me a favorite win and a most humiliating loss.
All right, I have those. So my backstory is 8 years ago I weighed 340 pounds. I shit you not. I know your face is jaws dropping. I was morbidly obese.
For the listener, Brad looks like a small Jim Jeffries.
Yes. Good.
That's actually, I get it. I get it. I totally get it. But yeah, I was morbidly obese.
I'm looking at your. If you were a black dude, I would be able to see stretch marks on the undersides of
like an NFL lineman, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
right here. I have
the armpits.
Yeah.
But that's why. Then I saw the sleeve tattoos, and I go, "Oh, he's covering something up." Just
Figured
like
it
a
out.
stripper that has fucking tiger claws on her fucking belly.
Yeah, that's not a cesarean. That's not at all. Yeah, it's a.
So you had the meat skirt and everything.
I was. Yeah. I
340.
340, 350.
5'9", 5'10"?
I'm 6 foot. 6 foot. Yeah. 6'2", according to my MMA record, but I'm actually 6 feet. And then, so I went from being an athlete in the States. And
Wait, how tall are you then?
6'3".
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Well, you just look fucking. You look shorter. Go ahead.
So, and then I was super fit, playing football, wrestling in the States, and then got injured and couldn't go to university and live that dream. And then my career took off, as I was saying earlier, just by faking it. And then
wait, you're doing other weird shit. They're not fighting career.
Yeah.
But.
So the fighting thing, I didn't start fighting until I was in my early 30s. I'd never thrown a punch until my early 30s. I went to an amateur boxing competition.
But you were fighting pirates.
Yeah. So I was doing counter surveillance.
Let's not gloss over that. If we're going to keep doing this podcast, let's get into you're a fucking Okie from Muskogee.
But it has to get glossed over because the security that he was doing, like a lot of people do security, like, you do the bodyguard security, you do the doorman at the bar security. The security that he did was like put security cameras into the most elite casinos in the world, security. So that was fat kid nerd security. So if we go back into that, he could be obese and sitting in the chair and just being like, put the camera there, put the camera there.
But yeah, so prior to so I started out in surveillance and counter surveillance and I was combating hijackings and piracy in the Straits of Malacca, in Malaysia and Indonesia and kind of all over the world. So criminals and these triad gangs would hijack containers of fucking Dell computers or Intel processors or gold or cash or whatever. The same thing's happening in Somalia and Africa with the ships we were dealing with in Southeast Asia, and I worked for this firm somehow, and I ran their Asia operations to combat this. It was a real job, real stakes, and I had 2,000 employees and guns and shotguns and absolutely in over my head.
But and you fell into that by talking
totally,
shit. You
totally just
bluff talk.
sweet talked my way into it.
Yeah.
I know. Trust me, I got this, and they were desperate, and no one wanted to go to Penang, Malaysia, to take this job. And I said, okay. And there I was 3 months later with 2 suitcases.
23
years old. And when I got there, we had 6 staff. And 4 years later, I had almost 3,000. And we were all over Asia. It was, and
half of them were pirates.
Listen,
of them. If I'm going to keep this gig, I'm going to need more pirates. So listen, you steal the Dell computers. They'll pretend to catch you. You'll get away by the skin of your teeth. We'll get the Dell computers back. I'll give
the
you
media will be there capturing the whole thing.
Right.
You meet people in Singapore every once in a while, and like again, my moral compass is wavered, if you will. But it's funny because living here, you'll meet some
by the drink.
It does go by the drink.
I would have never done this 7 fucking whiskey sours ago, but
for sure. And until now, then you meet these people.
You look legal now. What?
You look legal enough. They will literally break off though. Like the Straits of Malacca, where he's talking about, it is like Somalia.
Yep.
So there are all these pirates that go up and down. We've met numerous people here in Singapore. For those that don't know, again, for fans of Doug's podcast that aren't as worldly, this is like the Panama Canal. So like everything is going through here all the time. So the Straits of Malacca.
Crazy. That's the first time that I looked out a plane window after 1.5 million miles.
Right?
Where I looked down, it looked like if you've seen the movie Dunkirk.
Yes.
The amount of ships coming in when they had to, at the end when
Correct.
they had to nationalize all the private ships to get the troops out, and it's just this whole armada of. That's what it looks like with these tankers and freighters or whatever.
And they're all off the side, and they're all flowing through, and it's very amusing because you'll meet dudes here. Again, Singapore is a country with zero crime rate, but shit, 90% of these people do crimes at white collar levels. It's just not at low level robbery or whatever. So you'll meet people in Singapore, for instance. I've met homeboy RJ, if you will, and they'll be like, nah, I'm not into that. I'm into human trafficking. And it's like, whoa. You're into human trafficking?
Short selling stock.
Yeah. Somebody's got to make the buildings. Human trafficking's not all about sexual things, Doug. It's not. It's not always Russian whores. It's sometimes Filipino laborers.
But that's like,
and that's the way they roll.
Dubai, where they
yes,
pipe in the fucking Indians and the Pakis and the
correct. And nobody says a word. Nobody talks about it.
Town.
Completely. Yeah. And again, this country is again not the. Yeah, we're not even. I'm not saying anything that nobody doesn't know.
Anytime there's this much wealth, there is...
like you said, somebody's stepping on somebody's head.
Someone's going down.
Yeah.
But they hide it well, and that makes you feel right at home.
Hotel pizza is fucking lovely. Like, let's not like like the pizza was amazing. But I don't think...
It has to be the nicest hotel I've stayed in.
This
room.
I'm not kidding.
They were really fucking late with answering the phone just to get ice, and they don't have an ice maker.
They need to get their shit together.
Fuck them.
But other than that, this is probably the most expensive...
I don't want to seem like a suck up. Fuck them. Put an ice maker on the floor. Why do you have to...
Cut it with the questions.
Yeah.
So where the hell were we before?
You're fat.
I was fat as shit.
340 pounds.
I
what do you weigh now? Like $180?
200, 190 to 200.
I weigh 68 pounds according to the scale in here.
Those are probably kilos. Probably
that
kilos.
Doesn't matter. Because I'm going to call Bingo and say I only weigh 68 pounds.
Get your shit together, woman.
She has weight issues. And when she gets close to my weight, she panics. And now I'm going to take a picture of my bare feet on the scale where it says I weigh 68. And she's not going to notice the kg next to it.
That's healthy. It's healthy.
Yeah. When you have a girl that has a eating issue, always call her fat and make sure she knows she has no other options than you.
Marital advice from Doug Stanhope. The W Hotel in Singapore.
13 years together.
Well done,
Where's
sir.
she gonna
Congratulations to both.
It's not about a codependence. It's about dependence. Straight up.
Yeah. So
I can trick her with Celsius, not Celsius. What is it?
Yeah, Celsius.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Who does
Metric.
The metric system.
No, it's not. It's not important.
Where do we go from here, Doug?
Oh, we're back to you being fat, and then
I want to let's focus on my fat shit. Like I want to go back
it's
to that.
how you got out of that seat watching pirates on video camera.
So I went to they have this thing here called white collar boxing, which is fucking amazing. They take
so you wound up in Singapore as
I was still doing the security. So I went from the piracy.
40 is fucking bad. I
was the guy who turned heads in the walk through, especially I'm in Southeast Asia, Doug, and I weigh 300 something pounds. I'm in Southeast Asia.
Makes him like Shaquille O'Neal. Like the Shaquille O'Neal of Asia.
Was like the Shaquille O'Neal. That's exactly right.
the sideways version.
Yeah, people are looking at him like, again,
But
why would there be a human being like that?
I went to a boxing match where they have these charity events where they get bankers and oil and gas dicks and all this stuff, and they train them for 3 months to box, and then it's like $3,000 a table. Your friends come watch you fight in a cage for 3 minutes or a ring for 3 minutes at a time. And I was hammered and went, I will fuck all of those people up, literally, to my friends. And they called me on it, so I did it, and I fought in this white collar thing, still fat as shit. I weighed 280 by the time I actually. Wait,
It wasn't like you could go, I'll get in that ring right now. And put you in.
Took 3 months.
You had to.
I had to go learn to punch and how to put boxing gloves on.
You talk shit and then had to back it up.
Because I literally I said it. I told all my friends, I'm going to the next one and I'm going to murder these guys. And then I lost some weight, got in shape, punched a guy in the face.
Butterbean gets into the ring.
I absolutely butterbeaned this guy. Just mauled him and caught him with an overhand. And when I knocked him out, said to the referee,
Oklahoma haymaker.
I said to the ref, "Oh, this is my new shit." Like the exact words, like this. Oh, this is my new shit. Like this punching people is amazing. And then I went more boxing, and then went to kickboxing, and then I found jiu-jitsu. And then amateur
I'm guessing
MMA.
you lost a bunch of weight before the kick started.
Before the kick started, I got down under 300.
Ankle kick, uppercut.
Yeah, exactly.
How much were you when you were with Ole? How much were you when you were with?
So
a famous guy that he.
You project well, so just talk towards the mic.
Yeah. Again, Brad met with a very famous fighter who's Danish named Ole Larsen, who owns camps in the Philippines and in Thailand. Yeah. Ole is like a murderer. He's absolutely...
Legend. Joe Rogan would know who he is. He's an absolute kickboxing... And he kind of took me in under his wing, and his words were, makes no sense that you're doing this, but you have the right stupid Irish mindset. Just hang out with me and I'll teach you some shit. And then I fought at heavyweight and then light heavyweight, and then as I kept losing weight, middleweight. And then, so that's...
Is that unprecedented?
I don't know if anyone else in the world
just
has done
go
it.
up, right?
So
yeah, exactly.
I fought at 265, 205, 185.
I'm going to get AIDS, and I'm going to go from a heavyweight champion to a flyweight. As I wither away.
I was like the Christian Bale in that movie of fighters.
Like Magic Johnson.
Oh, the mechanic?
Or Magic Johnson.
Not the mechanic, but the
machinist. Yeah. So I fought from 265 to...
disgusting, by the way.
To 170 was my range of fighting, and it was what, and I was the whole time I'm insecure and I have a high school education from a farm town in Oklahoma, so the whole time I'm in the mirror every day going, this can't be my actual fucking real adult human this can't be what I'm doing. How is this? But I just kept doing it, and then next thing you know, I fought for it's like the UFC of Asia called One Championship, and it's massive. It's in the national stadium, and it's pay-per-view, and it's televised, and it's and that's when I told you I was shitting razor blades right before I walked out, and that's the life I had the last few years. But
the most humiliating defeat. And
okay,
the
that's
victory.
where we started. So I won my first 20 fights. Now, they weren't all MMA. Some were Muay Thai. I fought pro Muay Thai, pro boxing. I just fought whatever I could.
A fight's a fight.
Yeah, it is.
It's in the fuck.
Yeah, people kicking you in the face. It doesn't matter the rule set. And I just kept winning and just kept winning. But the whole time going, this is going to come to an end real soon and real ugly. And then kept winning, and therefore...
How many wins before a loss?
All in, all combat sports, more than 20. More than 20, right? And
Yeah, that's gonna weigh on your head.
I won the middleweight title for this group called World Series of Fighting Global Championship, which is a fairly big organization, and
But has gone under.
They have since gone bust, but I'm the current reigning and will always be
Since
their
they went
middleweight
bust,
champion.
yes.
The belt
Yeah,
is in
that
a
works
frame
out.
on the wall. I'm quite happy they went bust. I'm sure they're nice people, but fuck them. I hope they never resurge because I will be forever the middleweight champion. And so I won a 5-round title fight against a massive Filipino guy that's on roids, and it was a terrible, crazy fight, and he hit me harder than I've ever been hit in my life, and I choked him out in the last round and won. It was like Rudy. It was the Rudy.
Nice.
The fat guy goes to the Philippines and chokes his guy out after getting his ass beat for 20 minutes and won this title.
Got it on tape.
Got it on. It'll be on
that's
YouTube.
great.
It'll be on YouTube forever.
Do you show it to your kids?
Of course. Of course I do. That's the
How old
whole
are the
point.
kids?
The whole point.
How old are the kids? Do you?
10 and 9. I'm like,
So you don't have to repeat it anymore. Like,
No, they
you
get
started
it.
when they're 3 or 4.
yeah, exactly. They get it.
Jammed
Yeah,
it into their heads.
Look at the thing on the wall, kids. You look what Dad did.
Now the kids are 10 and 9. Did
Yeah.
they ever show it to their friends?
So my oldest recently came to me, actually last week, and said, "Dad, I Googled you. I have a sketchy. I've done some shit in my day.
Saw some shit that
Yeah.
Jason Mayhem
Yeah.
Miller put up on YouTube in a hotel room in Thailand.
It was terrifying when your son says, "I Googled you, Dad," and he found a video of me.
It's
fighting.
terrifying when my girlfriend says it. I don't have kids.
It's not good. You know, like I gotta I gotta turn you into a non-shitty human being, and you're saying that your father was elbowing people in a bloodbath fight in Thailand is a real hard thing to be a role model for. When you go, "Don't punch the kids at school," and he goes, "Yeah, but Dad, I saw you stomp a guy's head and smile afterwards, and they gave you a belt for it, and you got money." So that was my big win. I won a title, the whole thing. All my friends and family were there. It was the
That's
dream.
great.
It was my Rudy moment. The ego was fucking through the roof. It was great.
I hope
then
I hope it's the next fight that's the humiliating
The
loss.
hubris set in because of that. And I got offered a fight on short notice. 10,
Is it the
11
next
days.
fight?
The
Tell me
next
it's
fight,
it is
very
the next fight. Good.
And it's back for the big,
This is a Rudy moment for the podcast
This
where it
is-
goes exactly the way I want it to
goes
go.
south very quickly, right? So I fight this kid, and
Where are you?
I'm in Singapore, in the National Stadium, and it's the biggest card. The hometown. My whole crew is there, right? But it was a big fight, and it was late notice because some Russian guy got hurt, and Brad, can you step in and save this fight and fight this guy? And I went, let me Google him. He's 20. I'll murder this. Fuck him. Like, yeah, I'm in. Now, at the time, I was drinking a beer on a boat when the call came in, not in fight shape, but went, I'm a world champion. I can handle it. And he beat the ever-living piss out of me. It was my first ever serious. I got TKO'd, hammer-fisted in about 3 minutes. And my move, what I found out when adversity sets in, is to assume the fucking fetal position and look to the referee, would you please make him stop hitting me? And that was the last time I've ever stepped inside.
You don't let the kids watch that video.
No, they don't know about that fight. But the other ones... That's been banned from their YouTube channel. But yeah, so it literally went from the highest of highs to a humiliating, crushing defeat. And I had the unfortunate decision. I had a man bun. It was a man bun era. I had a man bun at the time. And even the announcers were going,
Hey, this podcast is over. Sorry.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
That's justified. That's my moment. That's my mullet.
I had the mullet, yeah.
That's my mullet moment. Was a man bun in a cage getting
Fetal.
fucking hammer fisted by a guy who I could actually be his father. I'm 17 years older than him, and he beat the shit out of me and made me go, you know, my career, my real job is doing great. I'm gonna focus
So
on
that was
for
only a
while.
couple years
It was
ago.
18 months ago or so.
Oh, that was the last
That
one?
was the last fight. Yeah, I'm kind of over
Wait,
it.
you won everyone and you lost one to a fucking
Yeah,
child
no.
and then quit?
I don't wanna
guess-
play anymore.
I guess I can't blame you for quitting after.
Hey, listen, the first time my kid beat me at Mario Kart, I said, we're never playing again. Like, that's just how, I can't help it. Like, congratulations.
The first time you hammer fisted him. But then when he came back and beat you, you quit.
Yeah. So I'm now I do other shit now. The fighting thing is not so entertaining. Like, it was really good. The victories are amazing, but the loss was tough, man. That was hard. So yeah, they were back to back, which
you could have gone out on top, but you still can. When we set up,
yeah, exactly. Brad Robinson versus Brad Robinson.
I'll do it in Bisbee.
Shh, we can make this happen.
So the backstory here, because this was not on the podcast.
Oh, that's right. We haven't talked about this. Brad Robinson. There's 2 MMA fighters named Brad Robinson. Hennigan looked you up. He goes, "Well, there's 2. I assume it's this one because he lives in Singapore." And so
much more Irish than Scottish on that note, but
well, he's fucking a posh Scottish. He's come on.
There's no such thing. Like, come on, there's no such thing.
He's a fancy lad. Have you not talked? He hasn't talked. I think he left, or maybe he's sleeping in my bed or masturbating in my bathroom.
hopefully.
So there's 2 Brad Robinsons. So you will come back for Brad Robinson versus Brad Robertson.
Because there can be only one.
There can be only one,
Highlander.
and you fight for the name.
Yeah, I think the only way that I would come back, and I'm sure he's a lovely guy. He's Canadian, so I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Nice.
And you know, it's not about, you think of it as an art. You're not scared.
No, I'm not. This is just I want to test my skill set
Against
versus
another Brad Robinson.
I want to know who the better Brad Robinson athlete is. But I think your idea, which is we fight. The only way I'm coming back, the only way that gets me back into an MMA cage is if we sign a paper that says the loser has to give up the name and their opponent chooses a symbol, much like Prince, that they can only be referred to for the rest of their existence.
I think I went too far by suggesting you brand the
branding's
symbol.
That's
a
bit
too
intense.
much.
But I think
But you do. I
fighter
suggested,
formerly known as.
I said you name the other one Kimbo Slice since he's dead and he's not using it anymore. But anyway, you have to give up the name at least so far as promoting yourself. You
I like
can
it.
never fight again as Brad Robinson. And Brad Robinson versus Brad Robinson, you know what? It sells as many tickets as fucking chick fights.
It's got to be in Bisbee, though.
It does.
We will make a stage.
Yeah. You have a pool?
No.
Okay, well, we need to find a pool.
Well, we kind of have one house has a pool, but it's no. We can build a stage. We have a chicken drop stage. You know where what chicken drop is?
Yes.
Yeah, we have that, so we could just level that up. We can make this happen, and we could pay-per-view the motherfucker. If Louis C.K. can put out a special on his website, we can pay-per-view Brad versus Brad from Bisbee.
Again, for the letter title. I would suggest that one of you goes by the name of the Tri-Lambs. Again, so it goes into the Revenge of the Nerds, if you will. And the loser has to be called Lambda, Lambda, Lambda for the rest of their fucking life.
We have to do some research on the other Brad to find out.
I don't know. He's Canadian.
Oh, he's Canadian.
I don't know much about him. I don't know what weight class he's in. But if we fight in Asia, that's kind of insignificant anyway. The rule set doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah, no, we can build this.
I think
I would love to do this.
This has got legs.
I really think people would watch that just to see who's the last Brad standing.
Last
Brad standing.
Last Brad standing.
Oh man, we have a million.
You sold it. Trademark it. You got it.
I would so fucking not book. What? Wait, April 26th? No, I'm not, because this Brad versus Brad is on that night. Don't book me that night.
Again, let's go against Mayweather whenever he has his next fight, just to do it. Just go against him. You know what I mean? So you could either be watching Mayweather or Brad versus Brad.
But
Stupid fucking decision.
that would actually be like if you put that kind of. No, you can't fight. You lose your name.
I mean, losing your name.
I really think all fighting should be winner takes all. Like that would.
Oh, like no, like you get to show money and win money. It should just
if you're fucking Mayweather and there's a purse and the winner takes the fucking purse.
So no, fuck your shit.
Goes home in defeat.
Yes,
alone by themselves,
empty and broke,
scorned. Yes,
because you could at a certain level you could lose a fight and look at the check they wrote you and go, this is a fucking life victory. Let's pop a bottle.
And that's why I hate that fucking McGregor fucking queen.
Yeah. He's jumped the shark. Let's be. I mean, it's he's jumped the shark.
It's the reason Trump is president.
It is.
Like if you go from that to everyone likes this. you bluff talking fucking zero.
Yeah.
He just got signed to Burger King.
We just got to a place where we can kill this.
That's probably the good end of this. Conor McGregor, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And Floyd Mayweather.
Anyone else? We got Trump, we got Floyd, we got the other Brad Robinson, and we got Conor.
No, Trump is actually that's the revenge. You spent all this time from fucking watching, Jersey Shore, and
this is what we get. This is like when you're.
I love it.
When you get,
I fucking love it.
You know, you get in trouble. Like I would get in trouble, and when I was a kid, and my mom would say, and I would just proclaim, "I swear on my life, I didn't do whatever it is," and she would go, "Well, this is for something you did and got away with," was her line. And I feel like that's the Trump presidency. I'm not directly responsible, but I allowed this other shit to go on as a citizen of America, and that's what happened. Now I get exactly what I deserve, and I have to take my spankings.
Yep.
Except for the fact, except for the
fucking dumb political.
Except for the fact, exactly. Except for the fact that we live over here.
You live in Singapore.
Nobody cares.
It doesn't bother me at all. I'm close to dead.
I don't vote, and I live 10,000 miles away for the last 16 years, so it really is insignificant. What my opinion.
Well, a lot of people in Oklahoma miss you, and this is not just a podcast. It's an intervention.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people in Oklahoma that are worried about you here in Singapore for 10 years, and they'd like to see you back in the Tom Joad fucking
or
Dust
they
Bowl
wouldn't.
Ranch. All right, fuck Oklahoma. Move to Singapore.
Expat.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun.
Moments.
We did a commercial.
No, we can do another commercial.
So we'll do some due diligence on the other Brad.
Yeah, Vancouver Brad.
Before we go get this fight
Richardson
made.
And you should, if he does have a Twitter, taunt him.
Yes.
Without talking about this podcast, just taunt him, going, "I heard you're too afraid to fight the real Brad.
You're not the real Brad. You're not the real Brad Robinson.
Don't do exactly what we're saying. Find your own way to say it so it doesn't sound like you're just parroting fucking AM talk radio. Just find your own way.
Heard you're Brad Robinson, but you're not the real Brad Robinson.
There can only be one.
It's not meth.
It's
not meth. You're
not
right.
That's a closer.
That's a wrap.
Done.
Party time. Party time. Party time. Party time. Drink your drinks and eat your eats. It's party time. Laugh your laughs and heat your heats. It's party time. Smile your smiles and blue your blues. It's party time. Dance your dance and shoe your shoes. It's party time. Howl your howls and suck your socks. It's party time. Yeah. Oh baby, grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Everybody, grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. One more. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Here we go. Party time. Yeah. Party time. Party time. Yeah. Party time. 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 Hey.